Hello students, in this video you will find water of crystallization, hydrated salt, anhydrous salt and some important properties of salts. First, water of crystallization. Very important. In this topic I am going to show water of crystallization. A definite number of water molecule present in a salt in its crystalline state is called water of crystallization. In different ways, another way also you can say, the fixed or definite number of water molecule associated with the compound with the help of loose, dot means loose chemical combination, with the help of loose chemical combination, this part is called water of crystallization. Next, I am telling some other examples. Copper sulfate pentahydrate, sodium sulfate decahydrate. Here water of crystallization is 10. Sodium carbonate decahydrate, water of crystallization is 10. Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate 7H2O. This is water of crystallization. Like that, this is definite number of water molecule present in the compound, present in this crystal, this part, and this is also the form of this crystal. And whenever this water molecule is removed, then its crystalline nature will also be lost. Then if water of, I am telling now the effect of heat on water of crystallization or hydrated salts. If hydrated salt is heated, then it lose water of crystallization. Some compounds lose partly, some compounds lose completely, some on heating undergo partial hydrolysis and form some different compounds like that. And when these salts are heated, like copper sulfate for example, heated, then it will lose its water of crystallization. And this is one example I have given, means water of crystallization if lost, then color will change, crystalline form will also change, and it will change into amorphous form. Now next point is hydrated salt. Those salts, those compounds which contain water of crystallization. Compounds containing water of crystallization are called hydrated salts. Or we can say here, for example, copper sulfate pentahydrate is called hydrated copper sulfate salt, hydrated sodium sulfate salt, hydrated sodium carbonate salt, magnesium sulfate is here hydrated salt, like that. These compounds in which water of crystallization is present, that is these compounds are called hydrated salts, hydrated substance. Next point is anhydrous substance. When hydrated substance is heated, it loses its water of crystallization like this, then this CuSO4 is called anhydrous substance. CuSO4 5H2O, hydrated substance, but CuSO4 is called hydrated substance. Like that, if a substance doesn't contain water of crystallization, it is anhydrous substance. Like here Na2SO4 10H2O hydrated, but only Na2SO4 is anhydrous substance. Sodium carbonate 10H2O. Here this is hydrated sodium carbonate, and only Na2CO3 without water of crystallization, only Na2CO3 is called soda ash, anhydrous sodium carbonate, like that. Next point, now I am going to tell you efflorescence. Certain hydrated salts, hydrated substances, when exposed to dry air, they lose partly or completely their water of crystallization. These substances, these salts are called efflorescent salt, and this property of salt is called efflorescence. This phenomenon of losing water of crystallization is called efflorescence. Now, efflorescence is the property of these salts. Now, what is reason? Efflorescence occurs when vapor pressure in the salt is greater than the vapor pressure of the atmosphere. Then if vapor pressure in the salt exceeds the vapor pressure of atmosphere, then only efflorescence take place. Some example of efflorescence: when there is a low aqueous tension, like here one example, Na2CO3 10H2O. Washing soda is it loses its water of crystallization when exposed to air. Next, sodium sulfate decahydrate, Glauber salt, lose its water of crystallization on exposure to air. And like that, Epsom salt lose its water of crystallization. These are the example of efflorescent salt. They lose their water of crystallization when, because their vapor pressure exceeds the vapor pressure in the atmosphere. And efflorescence is decreases or slow whenever in the atmosphere more humidity is there, high aqueous tension is there. In rainy season, efflorescence either negligible or less. Now next is deliquescence and deliquescent substances. Certain compounds, when exposed to air, they absorb moisture or water vapor from air and become moist or sticky, and ultimately dissolve in the absorbed moisture to form saturated solution. These substances are called deliquescent substances, and this phenomenon is called deliquescence. Some more thing I want to tell like this: deliquescence occurs when vapor pressure in the atmosphere exceeds the vapor pressure of the salt. Then only this deliquescence takes place. In dry air, deliquescence, if in air moisture is very less, then deliquescence also very slow. Now next is some examples of deliquescence, like here cupric nitrate deliquescent, ferric chloride, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, sodium hydroxide. These are zinc nitrate. These are some example of deliquescent substances. Now next point is hygroscopic substance and hygroscopy. Certain substances, when exposed to air, absorb moisture from air. They may or may not form saturated solution, but they absorb moisture from air. Such substances are called hygroscopy. Hence, all the deliquescent substances are hygroscopy, but all the hygroscopic substances are not deliquescent. All the deliquescent substances are hygroscopic, hygroscopic substance, but all the hygroscopic substances are not deliquescent. Like because some substances absorb moisture, means they are hygroscopic, but they may not absorb sufficient moisture to form a solution. Then they are hygroscopic but not the deliquescent. Some example like calcium oxide, cupric oxide, silica gel, concentrated sulfuric acid, ethyl alcohol. These are some examples of hygroscopic substances. Now, I hope you have understood efflorescence, deliquescence, hygroscopic substances. That's all for today's study. Again, in the next video, you will find very interesting thing. Thank you.